Guys, what I'm about to tell you is so wild, you better sit down and take a deep breath. Picture this. The Browns finally looked like they had some clarity at quarterback. Kenny Pickett was in, taking the reins. But then the Browns did what the Browns always do. They dropped a bomb right in the middle of their own locker room. And when I say bomb, I mean it, because there's a young quarterback shaking up everything, putting seasoned vets on ice, and forcing Kevin Stefanski to rethink his entire strategy. You're not going to believe today's news. So hit that like button and let's get into it. Let's start with that bomb in the QB room. Remember when we thought we finally had some peace under center? Kenny Pickett rolled in with guts and grit, a guy who'd already been through the fire in Pittsburgh, who knew what it meant to play under AFC North pressure. He wasn't flashy, no diva vibes, just a guy ready to work. That's all we wanted, right? But this is Cleveland. When do we ever keep it simple? Now we've got a full-blown quarterback earthquake, and the epicenter has a name, Shedeur Sanders. That's right, Deion's kid, and he's not just a legacy name. This kid is shaking the whole foundation, making veterans sweat, and putting Stefanski in a spot no one saw coming. Here's the deal. When the Browns signed Pickett, the entire fan base exhaled. Finally, a grown-up move, a cornerback with real snaps who'd taken hits, learned the hard way. It felt like we were headed towards actual stability for the first time in forever. But then the draft happened, and guess what? The Browns did what they always do, made things messy. Dillon Gabriel, fine, we all got that move. Depth options, no biggie. But then out of nowhere, they take Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round. Even Andrew Perry admitted it wasn't part of the plan. Listen to what the GM said. It wasn't necessarily the plan going into the weekend to draft 2 quarterbacks. We love adding competition to every position room, and we just felt it was the right thing to do. Let that sink in. The Browns accidentally created a quarterback identity crisis.
Instead of giving Pickett the keys and letting him work, now we've got a 4-man circus at quarterback, and nobody knows who's going to start week 1. And Shedeur, this dude's not playing around. He showed up at camp and made it clear he's not just here to collect a paycheck. When asked about falling to the 5th round, you know what he said? My story's going to be similar to Tom Brady's. That's the level of confidence we're dealing with. And honestly, he might be right. The kid can ball. Nathan Zagura broke it down on the Ken Carman show. He said, I think Joe Flacco was brought back because the Browns expected to roll into the season with Pickett, Flacco, and Gabriel. But then the draft played out, and suddenly here's Shedeur Sanders, who's had a great camp and can seriously play. That changes how we look at the QB room. And here's where it gets nuts. Joe Flacco, who was supposed to be the wise vet with the clipboard, is now the odd man out. Shedeur's not acting like some humble rookie waiting his turn. He's out there throwing like he owns the job, showing a confidence that's catching everyone off guard. Even NFL analyst James Jones isn't holding back. He said, if it's not Kenny Pickett, the only other real option is Shedeur. He's the most talented QB in that room. And about Flacco, Jones went straight to the point. Joe Flacco playing? I completely disagree with that. He's older. You're not gaining much going that route. So now a 5th-round pick has turned into a legit QB1 conversation. Shedeur's got the accuracy, the composure, and that intangible swagger that the great ones have. And that's making things really uncomfortable for guys who thought they had a lock on their roster spot. Here's the kicker. Joe Flacco knows this offense like the back of his hand. Stefanski's system flows with him. Mary Kay Cabot even said, "This screams Joe Flacco to me." And in practice, He's been launching deep balls to Jerry Jeudy like it's 2012 again. Chemistry, control, poise, everything you want from a vet. But does that even matter? Of course not. This is the NFL, and this is Cleveland. And as Zagura pointed out, if someone's getting moved, in my head, it's probably Flacco. Why? Because in this league, potential trumps stability every time. Pickett's still young. If he plays well and hits free agency, the Browns get that sweet compensatory pick. If he stays and performs, maybe he's the cheap starter they've been praying for. Flacco, no long-term upside. Just good tape, a solid arm, and a ticking clock. And that's the heart of it. Even if Flacco's the perfect schematic fit, even if he's dropping dimes to Jeudy like it's nothing, it's not 2023 anymore. Stefanski gets it. This league is all about development, not comfort. And unless injuries force his hand, you might be asking himself, why roll with the steady vet when you've got two young guys with upside, trade value, and fan buzz? So here we are. What looked like a calm, stable quarterback room under Pickett is now a full-blown reality show. Shedeur Sanders walks in as a rookie and turns the whole thing upside down. Joe Flacco might be out despite being the most system-ready guy, and Stefanski has to make a decision that could shape the next 5 years of Browns football. The real question is, did we finally stumble onto our quarterback of the future, or do we just create another unnecessary mess? You tell me. Should Shedeur get the shot, or are the Browns overcomplicating it again? Drop your takes in the comments, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. Catch you in the next one.